Hi, welcome in this Mapwize tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to create your first venue with 2 floors, a couple of points of interest, and directions. So let's get started. Begin to Mapwize Studio. So you can go to studio.mapwize.io and then use the account credentials that you have received from us. If you don't have any credential yet, please go to our website and register, and we'll get back to you with the necessary accounts. So let's log in. And when you log in, you enter into your organization area, where you see that the first thing you can do is to create a venue. We'll get into the other details later or in advanced tutorials. So to create a new venue, you just click there, and you can start by entering the address of where the building is going to be located. So here for the fun, I'm just going to go into Lille, where we're located in the Citadel. So of course that's not the place where the real building would be, but let's just take that space as an example. And let's say I'm going to put the building somewhere around here. So I'm going to create an area. It doesn't have to be extremely precise, but just define the area where the venue is going to be. You can give it a name. So for example, tutorial. I'm going to say it's going to be in English, and then you can hit create. The name has to be unique over all Mapwize venues. So it might be that you need to write something that is really specific to your organization. So let's create it. So there it is. It's created. And you notice that so far the venue has restricted access, so nobody can see the venue, and it's not published. So everything you do so far is going to be limited to the admin interface, and we'll see afterwards how you can export that to have it distributed to more people. So you see that it has a name, it has an alias, so you can see the URL. You can potentially give it a specific icon, define the languages it's going to support, so you can add many there. We're going to come back to that on a different tutorial. Add all kind of details, and notice that for now the venue is not published. So that's it for the venue. And now let's add the different floors. So as we said, we're going to create layers for the different floors. So I'm going to start creating a layer, and I'm going to say that's the ground floor, for example. So there's just a name I'm giving that's just matter to me. The name is never going to be seen outside of the Mapwize Studio. It's only for the studio. All the rest is hidden from the user, and I give a number to that floor, which is, for example, 0. It's going to be a tiles type. If you want to play with GeoJSON, it's going to be in a different tutorial as well. So let's create it. So I just have the detail about the layer, and the first thing I need to do here is to drag an image that's going to represent the structure of my building. So that's most of the time taken from a CAD file or a drawing that you get potentially redesigned by a designer. Here I have one that I can use. So I'm gonna position it on the building that I just created by moving the handles. So in that case, I'm gonna say, oh, I want to align that specific corner. Notice that when I change the color by hitting the handle, it's gonna unlock the handle, so I can specify where it is. Oh no, I said I want to actually align that corner, so there we go. And I'm gonna put that corner precisely where it's supposed to be on this demo. And then I can also get the other pin and say that one is actually gonna go somewhere here. So there I align my building. I can move, I can look around. I can play with transparency, so I can see how it would be to see only the background or only the floor plan. So of course here it makes sense to spend some time making sure the building is aligned, as moving it is always going to be a bit more complicated in the future. When I'm happy with the position of my building, I can simply hit import. It's going to upload the file, and then there's a lot of processing that's going to be done in the background to make sure that the map is ready for being seen and also on mobile devices. So after a few minutes, the map is going to be ready, and there I can see that my map is there ready to be used. If you want, you can change the position. We'll come back to that in other tutorials as well. So as I said, I want to create now a second floor. So I'm going to create exactly the same way. So floor 1, that's going to be 1, and I'm going to create it exactly the same way, taking the same picture. There, what's interesting is that I can actually go back and say, I already have the ground floor, so I can align it on the ground floor. The advantage that then I know that my building is going to be perfectly aligned, that the elevators are going to be on top of each other. So if you have images that are the same size, that's definitely the best feature. And then you can see that it's actually nicely aligned. When I'm happy with the alignment, again, I can import, and it's going to be ready for display in a few seconds. Notice that so far as well the layers are not published. So now that it's actually ready, I can publish it and save it. It's publishing doesn't mean it's going to be visible by everyone. It just means that it is now allowed to be seen in production. So let's make sure that they are both published. So the next step is to add some point of interest on the place. So let's say that, for example, I'm going to have I'm going to put an entrance somewhere. Like let's say that this is an entrance. So I can simply add that's going to be a point, and I'm going to say that's the entrance. I don't need to give it a subtitle. It's going to be on floor 0. Here I need to select a type. So the type is going to be, for example, here I said entrance. So the type mainly defines the icon and the style. The basic style is going to be linked to the object. I can decide if it's visible, searchable, clickable. That's all I need to know for now, and I'm going to save it. So that's my first point of interest. I can have a different one, and instead of having a point, I'm going to use an area. So, for example, I can say that this is going to be room number 5. So I can click it and readjust the corners. So that's going to be room 5. So the name is what I see inside of the admin interface, and the title is what is going to be actually displayed on the map. And you see that the title, I can give it multiple languages. For now, I've activated only English for the venue. But if you would enable more languages, then you would be able to translate the title into more different languages. And I can say that this is actually going to be something like a room. So basic style. That's going to be perfect. And just also to show how it's going to be to have multiple floors, I can now go to the first floor and say that I'm going to have a different place. For example, let's make this thing office. So tag, and again readjust the corners if necessary. So that's going to be the office. I'm going to select a type, for example, in corporate. That's going to be an office, and I can save it. So basically, at this point, I have 3 points of interest. I can see them on the list. I can see that they're on 2 different floors, and if necessary, I can edit them. So if I click on the room, I see the details. I can edit them, and I can go on and add more and more point of interest. So next step, if I want to add directions, is going to be to know how I can change from one floor to the other. So I'm going to create an elevator. That's a connector. So for example, the name is going to be elevator on the north. It's going to be a type elevator. It's going in both directions, so I can go up and down with it. Most of the time I need to wait 30 seconds to get it, but when I'm inside, it's taking 5 seconds to go from one floor to the other. I can give a specific icon if I want. It's available for people with disabilities, and it's going to be active, meaning I'm actually allowing users to take it, and I'm going to create it. So that's going to be the elevator, and I need to create one connector for all the different way to change floor. So each of the elevator, each of the stairs. And then I can create directions. So to create directions, I'm going to create direction floor, and I decide which floor I'm going to use. I can only create one direction per floor. So every route that I want to make on a single floor is going to have to be on the same one. So I'm going to start by creating for floor 0. So there I see my floor, and I'm going to start drawing it. So I can draw using either the click on the draw here or the D shortcut on the keyboard. And I can start drawing, and I say, okay, I'm going to start from the entrance, and then it's going to, I can go this way, I can enter my building, like that. I can move in this direction, I can move here. So I can really define the corridors that people can take inside of my building. Of course, I can also say, yes, but there's also this part, so I can add nodes into that and say I can also allow this route. When I'm done, I can hit back on select. I can adjust the position of the nodes if I want, make sure that things are straight. So there you see that there's one point that is red, which is the end of the line, which is there are also different things that I can say, like which area are available for people with disabilities, for which one is active. So that's going to be advanced topic for the directions. But of course, what we are still missing is the connection with the elevator. So what I'm going to do is start drawing again and say that my elevator, I can take it here, and I'm going to connect it to this path. So there it is. Now I can select that, and on the elevator, I can select the node and say that I can connect to the elevator. So from that moment on, that node is linked to that elevator. I can save the directions. So that's going to process everything on the background as well. And I can go ahead and do the same thing for the first floor. You see that I cannot create for floor 0 anymore. It's not available in the list. I can only create for floor 1. So I'm going to create for floor 1, and I'm going to go back. And so there I know that I need to start from the elevator because we just saw it. So I'm going to put it here. I'm getting out of the elevator, and I'm going to go around the area. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go in those directions. Here I'm going to do it quickly, but I guess you figure out how to do that more precisely for your own building. Notice that you totally don't need to go into each place of the building. So what matters is that you get the main corridors, and the direction engine will take care of all the interpolation between the point of interest and the corridors. So here I just need, the office is going to be connected directly to this route, and there is no need to have a direction going straight to the office. So there I'm going to adjust a little bit, and I can save the direction. Oh, I forgot that I actually had to connect the elevator here. So again, I select the point, the node here at the elevator, and I'm going to connect it to the same north elevator, and then save again. And so now it's going to be possible to go from elevator on floor 0 to elevator on floor 1. So we've created all the elements that we needed in the interface to display the layers to the floors, to display the point of interest, and to compute directions. But so far, all the data that you made were only visible by you in the admin interface. So now it's time that we see how we can get those data to other users. But it's a private building, so I'm going to make it. I'm going to keep it private. So now I need to go back into the setting of my organization. So back to venue list here, and here I can see that. So I can make my venue public, but that's something that we that makes sense only for really public building like hospitals and buildings like that. But here I can actually create an access group and an access key that are going to allow only the users that you select to access your content. So for example, in this case, I'm going to get an access group. So I create an access group, and I can give it a name like tutorial access group. and I'm going to select that in this access group, I'm going to see the venue tutorial for all the universe. The universe is different views. I didn't speak about that in this case. There are going to be some specific advanced topic about universe. So in this case, I say that whoever has access to this access group is going to have access to the tutorial venue that I just created for that universe. So I can create the access group, and now I can create an access key. So I'm going to the key in here, and I can create a new key. So for example, the tutorial access key. I can generate a key to make it complicated to guess, and I say that that key is going to give access to the tutorial access group forever, or you can specify only until a specific date or for a certain duration. So in this case, this key is going to give me access to this tutorial group, and I'm going to create that key. So now whoever has that key can actually access the venue that I just created through the tutorial access group. So that key, you can use it in the Mapwize web app, which is maps.mapwize.io, or in the Mapwize iOS and Android apps that you can download on the App Store. Now, if you want to show your boss or show anyone else what you've created, you can go back into the venue. You see that the venue is not published yet. That's something we didn't do yet. So now I'm going to have to publish my venue. So I'm going to save and publish my venue. So now all the data should be published, but still private. So you see that it's visible to users, but this venue has restricted access. So only you define who can access it through the access key. And now I can go to the URL generator. And so the URL generator is going to give me the possibility to generate URLs that's going to give access to the venue for somebody to see it on the web. So I'm going to say I want to show the venue, and so it's going to center on tutorial venue. And since the venue is private, I'm going to add an access key. So I'm going to select tutorial access key, and it's going to generate a URL that looks like this. There's also a little QR code that you can scan with the iOS and Android app. But so if you take that URL and you actually open it, it's going to open maps.mapwize.io, and you're going to see the exact venue that you just created. So we have the entrance, we have room number 5, we have the elevator on floor 0, and if you go to floor 1, you're going to have the office. You know that we are in the place, so now you can search for a place like, oh, where is room 5? So there's going to be. And if you want to get directions, you can get direction, for example, from the entrance, and it's going to compute the path from the entrance to room 5. If you say, I actually do want to go to the office, which is on floor number 1, then you see that we're going to route you to the elevator and say, let's go to floor number 1 and back to the office. So there we go. You've created your first venue. You have floors, you have point of interest, you have directions. You know how to protect your venue so that it's only private content that is only available through the key that you have generated. And now you can, of course, improve your venue further and look at the other advanced topics that are available in this tutorial. If you have any question, don't hesitate to come back to us, and we're going to be happy to help you getting further with Mapwize. Have a good day. Bye.